Give it up for me, people. Thank you. Once again, yes, my name is Vermin John. I'm a friendly fascist. I'm a tyrant that you can't trust. You should let me run your life because I know what's best for you. And I am a candidate with your best interests at heart. Believe me, I will lie to you because I'm a politician. I have no reason not to. That's right, friends. So this election year, vote early, vote often. I'm Vermin Supreme. Now, back in the day, back in the 1960s, was anybody here born in the 1960s? All right, well, I want to tell you a little bit about the 1960s here, because I know a lot of you young people today just don't get enough hipstery in your school. They're not talking about what really happened, what really went on. And so I want to tell you a little bit about the 60s, because we were on the verge of a revolution, friends. There was a revolutionary fervor in the air. Oh yes, we were excited. We were hopping mad and we were ready to make some serious change. And a lot of people got out on the streets, and we did. And you know why there was revolution in the air? Do you know why? Because the conditions were such. Because we were at war with a foreign country, far away, and Americans were dying on a daily basis. And that upset the people. War, there was a war on the environment. The environment was going down the toilet. Bad things were happening. Rivers on fire, like that. The people's civil liberties, the right to gather, was under attack. Things were looking grim, and that's why people become so upset. And they saw the injustice on the street, and there was revolution in the air. And we did come close. We came very close. My friend, Mr. John Sinclair, just the other day said that if we had computers in the 1960s, we would have won that revolution. And we have the computers. Now we just need the fervor. We need each and every one of us to seriously consider what we're doing on this planet. The news is so overwhelming every day. The environment's going to bad, worse. There's government clampdown every which way you look. The bad things. Don't shut down. Don't give in to the hedonism, the nihilism, the bullshit, the partying. Get active, people. Let me say this. That's all I have to say about that right there. But I want to give you a little bit more specific history in regards to our next guest that I want to bring up to give you a little bit of a background, because it's the 60s. Back in Detroit in the 1960s, me and John were good friends back in the 1960s. Yes, we were. And there was a scene there. And I don't know, do y'all know 60s music? Anybody? Anybody ever heard of one of the most important bands in America, the MC5? Kick out the jams, motherfuckers, that's right. Well, John came to me one day and he said, Vermin, I have the opportunity to manage this band. I mean, what do you think? Do you think I should do it? And I am like, John, hell yeah, you should do it. You need to manage this band. Those kids are good. And sure enough, they were pretty damn good. And another time, me and John, Mr. John Sinclair, were just hanging out, chilling out one day, smoking a big fat spliff there in Detroit, Rock City. And he said, we were talking politics. And how many of y'all heard of a group called the Black Panthers? Yeah? Well, the Black Panthers were a righteous organization. They had day schools, they had soup kitchens, they fed the people, they did things that for people that weren't getting done. And yet they were demonized in the U.S. press. They were demonized in the media because they were ballsy enough to use their Second Amendment right. They carried guns, yes they did, but they didn't use them, but they carried them. And that freaked so many people out that the FBI, the combined forces of the U.S. government, crashed and landed very, very, very heavy on them. But at the time, there was revolution in the air. And, well, armed revolution has not been unheard of in America, my friends. And at this time, they were revolutionaries. And me and John were sitting down one day, and he said, we were talking about the Black Panther Party. He said, you know, Vermin, don't you know, and I'm saying, John, don't you think maybe we should think about forming some sort of, like, white people support committee in support of the Black Panthers to show our political support and our will to back them up in their revolutionary struggle against imperialist America? And John thought about it and he said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea, Vermin, I think I will. And John Sinclair founded the White Panther Party! White Panther Party! Did I say something else? No, okay. All right. Anyway, and then, I didn't know, I swear, I did not know the guy. I didn't know the guy. But because of John Sinclair's huge radical dedication and political activism, they tried to entrap him. And I swear I did not know the guy that I said, when John asked me, do you know where I could get a couple of J bars? I said to John, yeah, I know some guy. And so anyway, I called the guy, and that guy turned out to be an undercover agent. I didn't know that shit. And they threw John Sinclair in prison for 10 years for 2 joints. Good Lord, can you imagine that shit? How about, I mean, right here today, who here's got more than 2 joints? See me after the show. But 2 joints could land you 10 years, and in parts of this country, that is still true. So as we fight for our liberties, as we fight for justice, as we fight to free the weed here in America, we've got to keep it together and keep it strong. And we have a man to thank for that. And his name is John Sinclair. But I'm not going to bring him up just yet. Because the 60s, the revolution is not over, my friends. The 60s continues into the year 2011, into 2012. We have a presidential election coming up. Like I say, you're so close to New Hampshire. We are going to rock that state hard. So come on up in the wintertime when the presidential primaries in town. And, okay. And once again, because this is, ladies and gentlemen, John Sinclair. He's going to be on in a second. John Sinclair, come on. But first, we're on the 60s. I want to talk about another time when me and my friend Jimi Hendrix. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, John Sinclair!
Vermin Supreme.
1, 2, 2.
Hi everybody, welcome to Extravaganja, the 20th such event here in the Commons. Very proud to be here as part of the show. Great to see Vermin Supreme back in the race running for President of America. He has my vote. Well, I'm here to help celebrate the advances being made here in the state of Massachusetts and generally in this grim country of ours, the United States. The decriminalization of marijuana in Massachusetts a couple of years ago represents a great step forward toward the eventual goal of legalizing marijuana. And in my case, I'm an advocate of the legalization of all recreational drugs. I can't see any reason why the police or the governments or the courts have any business with what's going on inside our heads. If we do something wrong, correct us. But if something's going on inside our head, that's our business. And the farther we can drive the police away from that reality, the happier we will be as citizens of the United States. I come here from the great city of Detroit, the former Motor City. In Michigan, we have medical marijuana legalized, and I'm a medical patient. I happen to believe that all use of marijuana in the United States is medicinal because we live in a sick society that's continually at war with people. Not really at war, they're just bullying people with their big weapons all over the world. This is an awful place in its way. But then there's all of us, so we stand opposed to that, and we have to deal with it. We have to get together with each other when you have an opportunity. Thank you. Cast a vote for the people or the beliefs you believe in. I know it sounds like such an idiotic proposition, but in a democracy, we still have the ability to put people in office that we want to, and we should take every opportunity to do so. If it was such a bad thing, they would have us doing it all the time. Oh, thanks. I'll get that after the show. I'm not going to bust up now. Much as I might like to. So I'm really happy to be here, and I was also happy to note that the University of Massachusetts has accepted this activity as part of its campus life. They aren't going to arrest us here. We can get high. We can enjoy the fellowship of one another in a free manner. And I hope you will realize how important that is. On the 2nd of April in Ann Arbor, Michigan, we had our 40th Hash Bash. That's my soundtrack. You know, they say every superhero must have his own soundtrack. We had our 40th Hash Bash. We kind of started this stuff there a long time ago. We also had the $5 ticket for marijuana possession. But 40 years, the University of Michigan has still not accepted the Hash Bash. They send their police out, they harass people, you can't really smoke weed out there. So this is really a much better situation. I'm happy to be here and not have to worry about the motherfucking police coming up to me on this space and giving me a hard time. I hate living in a police state. If we can end the war on drugs and dismantle the entire vicious mechanism created on our backs, this would be a whole different country, and we could get our freedom of thought back. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Legalization of marijuana, freedom for the people, and keep on fighting as we are now. Thanks, everybody.